When we stroll through an art gallery, we usually think we're just looking at some beautiful historical artwork, right? But what if we've been missing the real story this whole time? Today, in this explainer, we are diving deep into the hidden dimensions of art. We're going to explore 7 great mysteries that have literally been hiding in plain sight within some of the world's most famous paintings.
I really want you to keep this question in the back of your mind as we go through this. What if the world's most famous paintings are actually secret maps and hidden messages? Instead of just looking at these classical masterpieces as static, boring images from the past, I want you to treat them like unsolved case files, just waiting for us to crack them wide open.
All right, let's jump right in. Mysteries of world-famous paintings, the art detective's journey. So here's the deal. As an art detective today, you've got to leave all your assumptions at the door. We are not looking at these through the stuffy lens of traditional art history. We're strictly following the clues left behind by the masters themselves, because the absolutely crucial point here is this. Master painters didn't just paint. They encrypted their deepest, darkest secrets right in front of our eyes. Throughout this journey, we're going to use our investigative lenses to look right past the brushstrokes. We're peeling back the layers of paint, history, and time to uncover the astonishing reality beneath canvases that people have been staring at for centuries.
Opening our first case file, Michelangelo's hidden brain. Decoding the Sistine Chapel.
Okay, so to really appreciate the secret here, we first need to understand the baseline. The widely accepted surface-level meaning of this 16th century masterpiece is known as the divine interpretation. It simply depicts God descending from the heavens to grant life to the first man, Adam. You know the one. It's a beautiful, very straightforward biblical narrative. But that's just the surface. Let's look at the hidden twist. Usually, you just see what everyone else sees, God wrapped up in this massive, billowing red cloak, surrounded by angels. But look really closely at the shape of that cloak. Modern researchers realize that it forms a perfect, anatomically correct cross-section of a human brain. No way, right? Well, Michelangelo was actually known to have secretly dissected bodies to study human anatomy, and this is a brilliant example of how he snuck his secret medical knowledge right onto the ceiling of the most important chapel in the world. He was basically framing the divine spark as an awakening of the human mind itself. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Moving on to history's ultimate secret keeper, Da Vinci's secret messages, the codes of the Last Supper.
Get this. Leonardo da Vinci didn't just paint a meal, he composed a hidden requiem. It's like a giant puzzle. Here's how researchers actually cracked this incredible code. First, you locate the bread rolls scattered across the dining table. Then, you trace the positions of the apostles' hands, along with Jesus' hands. Finally, you draw a standard musical staff right across the painting, and read the arrangement from right to left, which, by the way, is exactly how da Vinci naturally wrote. When musicians actually played the notes marked by the hands and the bread, it formed a haunting, mathematically perfect 40-second musical composition. He literally painted a soundtrack into his masterpiece.
But wait, the music isn't even the craziest part. Take a look at this number, 4006.
So what does that actually mean? Well, researcher Sabrina Sforza Galizia discovered that the painting actually doubles as a doomsday clock. Look at this timeline. Back in the late 15th century, Da Vinci encrypted a complex mathematical and astrological puzzle right into that half-moon window sitting directly above Jesus. When deciphered, it points to a very specific, terrifying window of time. The calculated start date of a catastrophic global flood is March 21, 4006, and the end date, November 1, 4006. That's the exact date Da Vinci's code predicts humanity will be completely wiped out. He took a serene biblical scene and turned it into a terrifying prophecy for the future.
All right, let's fast forward a bit to the modern era, Picasso's hidden painting, X-ray vision on the Blue period.
To really understand this next mystery, we have to talk about what was actually going on in Picasso's life at the time. This piece, known as the Old Guitarist, was painted during Picasso's infamous impoverished Blue period. He was struggling financially big time, and blank canvases were simply too expensive to buy brand new. This historical context, that is the absolute key motive behind the astonishing discovery researchers made decades later.
And this reveals what was really going on in his studio. If you just look at the surface painting, you see the iconic blind, frail old man hunched over his guitar. But modern tech has completely changed the game for how we look at art. Using advanced infrared and X-ray technology, art detectives peered completely through that top layer of paint. And boom, The X-ray revealed a ghostly portrait of a woman's face staring right back. Because he just couldn't afford a new canvas, Picasso simply painted his iconic guitarist right over a completely different unseen masterpiece to save a few bucks.
Which brings us to our final phase today, the unseen art world, layers beneath the paint.
The wild thing is, these incredible discoveries really just prove that the classical art world is still packed with mysteries we are only just starting to untangle. Let's jump back to Da Vinci for a second to look at the most famous face on Earth, the Mona Lisa. It is packed with anomalies. First off, researchers have actually found microscopic letters and numbers secretly painted right into her eyes. Second, using reflective light technology, scientists discovered there's a completely different outline of a woman painted underneath the Mona Lisa we know today. And third, that iconic, enigmatic smile, it actually hides layers upon layers of meticulous, highly controversial revisions by Da Vinci himself. Even the most looked-at painting in human history is still hiding massive secrets from us.
Okay, let's look at one final piece of evidence, Vincent van Gogh's Café Terrace at Night. Now, at first glance, this just seems like a simple, beautiful, brightly colored evening scene in France. Nothing crazy, right? But Van Gogh was actually hiding a brilliant and very subtle homage in plain sight. Check out how these specific details line up perfectly with another masterpiece we literally just talked about. Look at the hidden tribute here. Count the patrons. There are exactly 12 of them sitting at the cafe. Standing among them, right in the center, is a single figure with long hair. And if you look really closely at the brightly glowing window directly behind that central figure, there's a subtle but very deliberate cross shape hidden in the window panes. It is a direct mirror of Da Vinci's The Last Supper. It's so cool because it shows us how these legendary artists secretly communicate with each other, hiding nods and tributes across centuries of time.
So, wrapping this whole explainer up, it really boils down to this core takeaway. History's greatest artists were also its most brilliant secret keepers. They used their canvases not just as a place to capture beauty, but as secure vaults. Vaults for their medical knowledge, their musical compositions, their dark prophecies, and their silent, century-spanning conversations with one another.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The next time you walk through an art gallery or even just see a famous painting in a book, what else might be staring back at you? Keep your eyes open. Keep that investigative lens focused, and remember, there's always more than meets the eye. Thanks for exploring with us, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.